video, we're going to show you how we're able to camp affordably across the country in Rick's converted cargo camper. Hey there, we're Rick and Sharon.
I'm a retired carpenter. I converted my cargo trailer into a custom camper. Now we've camped all over the country since converting our cargo trailer to a camper in 2020. We would not have been able to afford these travels and adventures had I not converted the trailer into a camper. I spent about $3,000 initially on the conversion and have since spent about another $2,000 in upgrades. Although we've made a few tour videos before, this is the most recent and comprehensive up-to-date tour of our camper, which is still a work in progress. The cabinets were unfinished cabinets purchased from Home Depot, and I merely lightly sanded them and finished them with waterproof polyurethane. I've got an LED light underneath of the cabinets so it can act as a reading light or an ambiance light in the evening when you don't want to have the overhead light on. Now, the overhead light in the trailer is not an LED, but it was the original light from the trailer. The ceilings in here are actually made up of 1/4-inch plywood underlayment that was only about $13 a sheet, but it had such beautiful grain in it. Once I got it up, I decided I would varnish it. Originally, I was going to just paint it white. So the bed is typical staggered slats. You lift the seat cushion up, pull it forward, slide the cushion out, back cushion folds down. Now the foam panels were originally each 24 inches, so in order to make it feasible to have a low back like this, I cut 6 inches off of the one panel and taped it onto the other one before I built the cushions. The windows I bought from eBay, they are new windows rather than purchase used. Sharon's granddaughter made the curtains in the trailer out of a piece of fabric that we purchased at the Joann Fabrics. And we didn't originally have these baskets in here, but the utensil drawer was starting to get full with all the little miscellaneous stuff, and I decided to add these. The kitchen area is something that I had envisioned for a long time if I were ever going to do one of these cargo conversions. I wanted to have a sink with hot and cold water, and we do have a water heater in the rear of the trailer. I've got a refrigerator and freezer with separate doors. This looks a little rustic, but it's merely here to keep the microwave from sliding around when the trailer is being transported. Once we arrive at the site, that comes off and goes away. I've also got a television up here and a television antenna, and I just purchased a through wall jack to be able to put the antenna outside the trailer to get better reception. We've got drawer storage and doors, cabinets up above. I've put pressure latches on these things so they want to stay tight, but I also use these bungee cords when we're traveling and just merely wrap them around the knobs on the cabinets here. The one remaining issue that we're having trouble with is this drawer sliding out, so I think I'm going to get a latch of some sort to put on this drawer that I can secure it when we're moving. Underneath the sink, the drain drains through the floor to the outside. We also have a 5-gallon bucket here with a toilet seat to use as a toilet. There's also a propane heater stored in here for when we're not on electric. And over in this area are right now all the pots and pans, but I'm eventually going to move those back into the kitchen in the rear because I think we're going to cook back there more often than in here. In these upper cabinets and the lower cabinets, I went and bought some cheap battery operated lights from Five Below because sometimes in the evenings it's a little dark to see what you're looking for in here. So each of these cabinets has an interior light that I can use when I really feel I need it. We've got the little baskets on the side that we picked up in one of the home decor stores.
Before we show you the rest of my crib, like, share, and subscribe if you like this video.
Stinky, it's not your crib.
Whatever.
Where'd you even come from?
Oh, I stowed away in the camper over the winter when it was cold. I used to live under the shed, but Rick, this is a nice upgrade.
Well, thank you, Stinky. I'm so glad you approve. Okay, this is what's typically called the garage of the trailer. In the back, We have the rear of the air conditioner. I've got a cabinet above, again with friction latches on it so that it stays closed, that we keep paper cups and paper plates back here for cooking. I put a shelf in here. Now where I'm parked right now, the ground behind the trailer is high, but on a normal site, the grade would be such that this is actually going to be a countertop height when I'm parked on a campsite. This is our fold-up mat for on the side of the trailer. I've got a little bit of tool storage here. I have a tarp that attaches like an awning on the side of the trailer, and these are the poles that hold the outer side of it up. We've got our rack for spices and coffee and sugar. And here I have a propane water heater that will heat water for the sink, and we also have an outdoor shower. It's a unit that's produced by TCMT. It's a Chinese brand. It's basically a 6-liter instantaneous propane water heater. It uses 2 flashlight batteries to provide the power for the igniter, all the sensors, and LED readout of the temperature. It hooks up to a propane bottle. It's instantaneous and will provide as much hot water as you can use because it's heating it as fast as it goes through the unit. Got a battery operated 12-volt electric pump here so that if we're off grid we can switch over and hook the pump up to the water connection and pump from water storage tanks underneath. Below I have a 12-volt battery which is connected to the lighting inside. All the lighting in the trailer is 12 volt and the porch light for the trailer is 12 volt. But I also have a electric inverter that I can use here, hook up to the battery, and in a pinch we can use our electric coffee maker or a hot plate to cook with using battery power converted to 110 volt. There are several storage totes in here right now. I'm toying with the idea of building one larger slide out bin, but for the time being these are adequate for holding all of our kitchen appliances. There's one in the back that is mostly camping tools and accessories. Oh, and then we have what is normally an over-the-door shoe storage bag. I cut the bottom off of it and put it inside the trailer in one of the base cabinets inside the door, and these pockets now will get filled up with all the other little things that we decide to add as we go along. All right, so on the roof of the trailer, since we quite often take our canoe or kayaks along with us, I added a rack space. The rack was just simply 4 2x4s, and they're not pressure treated because I was afraid that pressure treated would twist up too much up there in the heat. So they're 4 2x. I wrapped them with flashing material to waterproof the ones on the top of the trailer. I mounted those to the sides of the trailer using these T-brackets, which are a Simpson bracket. So the 2x4s, none of the roof rack is screwed through the roof of the trailer. Everything is attached to the sides. And then the cross members are attached to the rails using 3-inch screws. And then I added carpet on those cross members. The trailer's a little high, so when we are hauling boats on the roof, we're going to have to bring one of our step ladders along with us. And there's space in behind the shelf in the rear to store that.
Design, because this design is very simplistic, and you did that on purpose. So why did you do this?
Well, one, I'm not a real big fan of building things rustic. And the reason is that, like, you leave a lot of rough wood inside a van, or you try to build or cover walls using pallet lumber. It usually requires so much sanding and so much labor in order to get an even halfway decent result. And I wanted quick. I was more willing to spend a few dollars and not try to build everything inside this camper with reclaimed material. So
well, nothing was really expensive, although you did buy cabinets.
I bought cabinets new. I bought the refrigerator new. The wall coverings and the ceiling and the floor in here. Oh, none of these items were really that terribly expensive. Right. I mean, I think I probably was able to cover the walls, the floor, and the ceiling in here for about $400 or less.
But it has a very simplistic and a clean look, and it's just, you can wipe it down.
Well, that's it. And it's easy to keep clean. It's not something that's going to constantly collect dust. It's not something that, you know, you use this old pallet wood where a board was already split, and 6 months from now you hook a thread of your shirt on it and now it's splintering. Definitely didn't want that kind of an end result to occur.
So you got interviewed by Patrick and your camper was put on New Jersey Outdoor Adventures. So I want to ask you what that was like. He's got a huge channel. So what was that like for you?
Well, I was looking forward to it because I saw that, Patrick had a pretty good sized channel, and there had also been some mentioning that it would probably help to promote our channel by doing that. The other thing is that Patrick has a system that he uses, a plan that he follows when he shoots a video, so he just basically repeats it. And what he does is discusses what he's going to do so that you know exactly how that video is going to take place. He'll talk about the fact that he's going to go around the outside, first, and he will point to certain things so that nothing gets overlooked, that everything gets, as much of the build gets included in the video. So it makes it very easy. If you get to a loss for what to say next, he is right there ahead of you, prompting you and walking you through this video so that it proceeds smoothly and that your whole story gets told. And I really kind of like that and admired that about the thought process behind the way he shoots his videos. Because of the size of his channel, I must admit that I was a little intimidated, a little nervous.
You didn't come across as nervous.
No, but internally I felt it.
Probably the question we get asked most of the time is, where is our bathroom? So I will show you. In the cabinet under the sink, we have just a bucket with a seat. And we can put bags in there and chips in there if we want. The truth is we rarely use it. Most of the time when we camp, we are at somewhere where there's a bathhouse and a shower. So this is for emergency use only and is rarely used. However, we are thinking about the possibility of upgrading maybe to a cassette toilet or something. So another question we get is, why did we choose this size trailer? Actually, we didn't. This is what Rick already used this for his construction. This is not the size we would have bought. We would have bought a 7x14 at least with a V-nose. That would give us much more room. The problem with the 6 foot, when we pull this bed out, we were hoping to lay this way. But Rick just fits, and if he wants to throw his arm up over his head, he doesn't fit. So we wind up sleeping the other way. A 7 foot wide trailer would have taken care of all that. We don't cook in here. We do have a microwave. That is the only thing we've ever used in here to cook with. Now, if we were on a really rainy weekend or something and we had to cook, we could cook it. So we chose to put the kitchen in the back because most of the time we are out back. Didn't want to cook in here to have all the, the odors and everything from cooking lingering in here. So we like the rear kitchen. Now, in that rear kitchen, we have a propane stove. We have a hot plate. We have a crock pot. We have an electric griddle. I think we have more appliances out back in the cargo area than we have, or just as many as we have in our house. So we have plenty of ways to cook. If we needed to bring a hot plate in here, we could do that. So it's versatile, but like I said, normally our cooking is done out there, and also we eat out there. The only time we use the microwave, sometimes we will have, I'm embarrassed to say, quick microwavable dinners, because sometimes we'll pull into a site, it'll be late, and we don't really want to fuss around with cooking and everything, so we may just nuke something in the microwave. So here we are, our first time boondocking out in western Pennsylvania. We're in a primitive campsite. We have no electric, no water, no hookups, no anything. And yet, we want for nothing. We have hot showers. We have 2 toilets, 1 bucket toilet in the camper, another cassette toilet, and a little tent out back. We have a generator with TV, heaters, all different ways of cooking. We're living large, even though we're boondocking.
The axle in this trailer is only 2 years old. It was replaced because I hit a bad pothole and it looked like I had bent the axle and one of the wheels seemed to be tilted, what they call negative camber. The original axle was a 4-inch drop, which means it had an offset so that it sat closer to the ground. I decided to put a straight axle on it to raise the trailer up with the thought of maybe putting a water tank or a gray water tank underneath in the future. So I put the straight axle on it, and I originally told them that I wanted to put the axle underneath of the springs to get it up in the air as high as possible. They apparently went and ordered an axle for that application, but then they called me and said, if we do that, it's going to be so high up in the air, the tires are hardly going to be inside the fender. So how about we just put the axle on top of springs? So I agreed, not realizing that they already had the axle and it was designed to be under the springs. So they went ahead and just installed it by flipping it over, didn't put new spring seats on it, and the axle, as a result, had a crown that was crowned the wrong way and caused the trailer to have a very negative camber. And I got about 8,000 miles out of a set of tires before I blew one out in Arizona. We were going down a hill at 65 miles an hour, minding our own business, when this tire decided to just go bang. And pieces of rubber were flying past us at 40 feet in the air as the tire was slapping it and the side of the trailer.
What happened, Rick?
Trailer got a boo-boo. And it was a nightmare because it took the fender off on that side, and I had to go purchase another spare right away and then get another fender and put on it. So we now have one diamond plate black one and one smooth mill finished aluminum one. Anyway, it was an interesting afternoon.
You handled it very well, though.
That's right. We didn't even have to shovel off my seat.
If you want to see the latest work that Rick has done on the camper, click on this next video. Flipping the axle on Rick's cargo camper may have inadvertently caused us to have a blowout, and it doesn't appear that this axle was properly installed, so Rick is going to have new spring seats welded on and reinstall this axle correctly.
You all come back now, here?